Hey there, guys. Welcome in. It's Saturday night, and it is time for 30 Books in 30 Weeks, the personal development series where I invest 1 week every single week in a new personal development book, and I share some amazing ahas and helpful tips about various topics. And so we're currently in week 5 of 30, and this week's subject has been boundaries, which I thoroughly enjoy because that was a game changer for me. What's going on, Mark? Boundaries, learning how to set and maintain my personal and professional boundaries was huge for my transformation. It was huge for how I've been able to build my business. It's been huge about how I stay 100% sold out to happiness and how I live life on Mars. So as you guys come on in, make sure that you're sharing this out and invite some people to join you, because tonight we're actually going to talk about how do you live life within your boundaries. And that's a real struggle for some people. Huge struggle for some people. Mark, I hope you're still cheesing. But boundaries, living within your boundaries is difficult for a lot of people. So for those of you, if you just happen to be joining me for the very first time, you don't really know who I am, don't know what I do. My name is Marcy Batiste. I live life on Mars. I'm sold out to my happiness, and I love helping women shine. So 2018 is all about raising the bar for myself and for other women around the world, building a global community of women, brand new rising stars, seasoned rising stars, who refuse to let the fears, flaws, failures, and past pains dim their light. So that's what I'm about. I also have a consulting company, training company called Bankable Success Advisors, where we work with individuals and businesses to help them optimize their personal and professional investments, such as time, energy, and finances, so that they can yield the best return and see the results that they want in optimal time. Make sense? Okay. So I have to get better about sharing that. So I'm trying to be super diligent about that, based on some feedbacks and some surveys that I did last year. So I did want to share that with you guys, and now I want to dive right into the topic. We're talking about boundaries, and we're reading from this book throughout this week. It's by Drs. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. And it was interesting because, so this is Super Bowl weekend, and as you guys can see, huge football fan, love my Denver Broncos. Broncos up, even though we're not in the Super Bowl. We didn't have such a good year. I love football. But one thing I know about football, football has very clear, defined boundaries. Football, they don't hesitate to review a call. Matter of fact, every touchdown play, every scoring play is reviewed. But we don't do that. We don't even come close to applying that in our lives. We don't invest the time to go back and review the plays that we've made. We don't go back. Football teams spend countless hours, coaches, players, studying film, studying the tape, replaying. It could be just one single step outside of bounds, outside of the boundary, outside of bounds, and they're like, was this toe in or was this toe out? I mean, it's that critical in sports that people are that laser focused on their boundaries. Ty Allen Jackson, what's going on? Long time no see, my friend. But we don't do that in life. And so I was thinking about, what if we lived life within boundaries like we would live sports within boundaries? We're very clear, not even just sports. Think about board games. They all have a set of rules. Really, boundaries are your set of rules. It's your standard operating procedures, your SOPs for the military people. I come from a banking background. We had a written procedure for every single function. It didn't matter how small the task, it didn't matter what department it was. There had to be a written procedure so that anyone could step into that position and they knew exactly how that position needed to be managed, how clients needed to be handled, etc., and so on. What if we created standard operating procedures? What if we created boundaries? What if we created a set of rules that said, this is how I operate. This is how I would like for you to operate in relation to me. And y'all know I'm going to repeat this. I repeat this. I probably say this 50 times a week. Pam Blair, hey sissy. I probably say this 50 times a week. It is, we teach people how to be in relation with us. Boundaries. Boom. Standard operating procedures. This is your rule. This is your invisible property line. If you haven't watched these videos this week, you guys, and you're not familiar with what it's like to set boundaries for yourself and what it's like to set boundaries in your relationships, whether they're personal, professional, familial, intimate, whatever the case may be, you have to have a set of rules in place so somebody knows how to operate in relation with you. And I was really, truly, like, I was actually cleaning out a closet, and I was thinking, you know what? This is what we need to talk about, because everybody's getting ready to watch football tomorrow. Everybody. It doesn't matter if you like the Patriots or you like the Eagles. Go Eagles tomorrow, just because I absolutely can't stand the Patriots. But point is, we're all going to watch football. 90% of Americans will be in front of a television watching this one game, this one sport. And even if you're not a football fan, you still know enough to know that there are a set of rules. You know that a touchdown is 6 points. You know that a field goal is 3 points. You know that the quarterback is the guy who throws the ball to the other guy. You know the roles. You know that the running back, the receiver, the wide receiver. You know that there are these specific positions. And on every single football team in the world, hey Huey, everybody has a position. They play their position. And their standard operating procedures, their playbook, as they call it in football, tells them how to play their position. And it's always in writing. So as we sit there tomorrow and we watch the game, and we watch how many times the ref throws the little yellow thing, the flag, how many flags get thrown? What's a flag mean? It's a foul. Stop the game. We gotta check this out. We gotta figure out what happened. We gotta figure out, is there a penalty being assessed to the offense? Is there a penalty being assessed to the defense? It's a penalty. But for some reason, when people violate us and violate our space and violate our privacy and violate our standard operating procedures, we're afraid to throw a flag. Why? In football, you would throw a flag. In what do they do in basketball? They blow the whistle. I don't know what they do in soccer. I don't really watch soccer. Every single sport, we learn to operate within the confines of that sport. We learn to operate within the boundaries of the game. But yet, and still in life, we're just like, dum-de-dum. They violated me. They hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to do anything about it. They violated, and instead of telling them, I'm going to go talk to my friend over here. Well, don't tell your dentist that you need new tires. Your dentist is not there to give you new tires. He's there to fix your mouth. And don't tell your auto mechanic that you need a root canal, because he's not there. No, you need to tell the dentist that you need a root canal, and you need to tell the auto mechanic that you need new tires. You need to throw a flag when there's a penalty. When somebody violates your boundaries, throw a flag. Stop the game and say, hold up, wait a minute. Let's have a conversation about this. And bring it back to a place where you can reclaim control over the situation, control over your life, control over your emotions. And so sometimes when it comes with dealing with boundaries in your personal life and your professional life, you might have to throw the flag, but you don't review the play right then, because you got to calm down. You see, when we're reactionary to stuff and we throw the flag and we want to react right then, we don't always get the call right. So we need to take the time, review the play, review the violation, figure out what penalties need to be assessed, and then you go back to the person who's violated the boundary and have that very, very clear, concise, and constructive conversation. And for those of you who didn't see that series, I did a whole week talking about how to have crucial conversations. How do you talk to people? How do you communicate your needs? How do you verbalize your desires? How do you communicate your boundaries? Philip, Dave, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me. We don't do that in life, but we're more than willing to do that in sports. We're more than willing to do that in just about every other arena except our lives. So I challenge each of you, as you're watching football tomorrow, as you're watching the Super Bowl, to think about every time you hear a whistle, every time you see a flag thrown, every time they say timeout, we need to review a play, timeout, we need a huddle, 2-minute warning. They have all kinds of stuff in football that says, hold on, wait, let's review this and let's make sure we get it right. So I challenge you, as you hear those things and you see those things and you see those players and you see the quarterback throwing the ball to the wide receiver, or that you think about they're playing a role. And over on the sidelines, and you see the coach, and he's got his little thingamabopper on, and he's talking like this to one of the assistant coaches, and they're trying to figure out, what's our next move? What's our best move? How do we get back in the game? And that's what boundaries help you do. They help you get back in the game when somebody's violated you. Howard Petrie, Trisha Petrie, what's going on, you guys? Husband and wife duo on the live stream tonight. Welcome. But I challenge you, as you're watching football tomorrow, to think about, do you apply boundaries in your life as clearly and as definitively as they do in football? When you see the flag, think about every time someone has violated your personal space, has violated you verbally, who has violated you physically, who has compromised you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Have you thrown a flag? Have you called a foul? And have you taken the time to review the play and went back with your head in the game to reassess and reevaluate? So that's my message tonight. I have to get back to cleaning out my closet. I hate cleaning closets, but it's a necessary evil. That's what life with boundaries is like. So I want you guys to think about that while you're watching the game tomorrow, and think about me cleaning my closet. That's one of my healthy boundaries, is making sure all that stuff's organized, because it makes me crazy if it's not. And that's all part of being sold out to happiness, you guys. So we talk about being able to have these crucial conversations. We talk about the importance of boundaries. We talk about, how do you live life within boundaries. That's how you live life within boundaries. When you're watching the football game tomorrow, imagine that's you living your life with clear defined boundaries, just like they have for football. All right? So I thank you guys again for joining me. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that. All of the videos, so if you're curious about the crucial conversations, how to have those tough conversations when emotions are high stakes combos, all of those videos are on there. All of this week's boundaries videos are on there. I want to say everything since the beginning of the year is uploaded to YouTube already. So as always, guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you, as always, for living life on Mars. So till next time, I'm out. Have a good night.